revitalizing the spirit, restoring our community. Urban Family Talk.
I cannot tell it all. God's been so.
Our country was not, look at somebody say not founded on biblical Christianity, but that of what? Freemasonry. Part 4 of the Truth Behind Hip Hop will tell you all that. Go in details with it. Part 8 of the Truth Behind Hip Hop, Lords of Discord. I talk about it. Curse of the Culture, Lords of Discord. Talk about the whole thing. Show you the origin of the nation, how it came to be, everything, how the founding fathers did not believe Jesus Christ was the Son of God. They didn't believe his teachings were accurate. They believed he was just a prophet who said some good things. But their God is the grand architect of the universe, the God of their lodge, which is Osiris. So this country was not formulated on biblical principles. Not at all. They took some ideology out of the Bible. But for the most part, Freemasonry needs to be credited for what these 4 founding fathers taught. They were in secret societies, some of them pledging their souls to Satan. Ben Franklin was a Satanist, masquerading as a Christian. Can I keep preaching? When we enter politics on a national level, we automatically compromise because our federal government is what? Pagan. Don't believe it is? Walk in the Capitol building, look on the rotunda. What are you going to see? You're going to see all the goddesses that our nation submits to. You're going to see all the goddesses enlightening the founding fathers. You're going to see them all posted up everywhere. False gods. God said, thou shalt have no other God before me. The minute you see false gods, you know that they're not with the real God, the true and living God. Amen? Sometimes local governments can maintain a balance of God in politics. So sometimes if it's a local governmental job, you can keep your Christianity a little bit and try to do it, whatever. But then it's going to be tested eventually. When it is tested, the oaths that were taken must be broken in order to stand up for God. And when oaths are broken, we're punished.
Welcome back to Aaron the Addisons on Urban Family Talk. You heard a clip that is Pastor G. Craig Lewis of EX Ministries with his position on Kim Davis and how we are to respond to what she did based on how government has been established in this country. I'm Miki.
And I'm Will.
And Abraham Hamilton III joins us. And people who are familiar with our show and listen on a regular basis, you know exactly who Abe is. He is not only a friend of ours personally, but he is a friend of this ministry, friend of this show. And we appreciate his role in culture. And we invited him on today, and he's been gracious enough to give us several hours of his time to talk about this. And we respectfully disagree with Pastor G. Craig Lewis. Yeah. We respectfully disagree with Pastor G. Craig Lewis. So, Abe, you just heard that clip, and I want to just lead in with this statement, and then I'm just going to let you kind of help us understand what is and isn't accurate about what he said. America, he says, was not founded on biblical principles, and he says that Freemasonry is to be credited with the founding of the United States of America.
Good morning to you and to the listening audience. As you gave me your disclaimer, I too, this will be very brief. I appreciate and respect Pastor G. Craig Lewis, and I will continue to do so even after this discussion. However, I respectfully and strongly disagree with his statements as described in that particular clip. First of all, I hate to see anybody do it, but especially when Christians use broad brush, carte blanche statements to make a point. Mm-hmm. So he made the statement that America, founding fathers were pagan. Now, in order to truly assess that statement, you have to ask yourself the question, well, who is he referring to? Mm. In the course of that video, I know it wasn't that clip, but he refers to 4 individuals, Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Paine, Benjamin Franklin, and John Adams. All right. First things first, just to put some facts to this, there were 39 signers of the United States Constitution that was ultimately ratified in 1789. It was passed in 87, ratified in 1789. Well, about 1788. 1787 to 1789 was the process. There were also 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence. So when you start to understand that that's 95 people. So in order to truly assess whether or not the statement that the founding fathers were taking is true, you have to really begin to dig into who these individuals were. The people that Pastor Lewis cited in this particular presentation were commonly understood as four of the least religious individuals. So then that begs the question, well, who invested these people? And most of us can only refer to a few of the quote-unquote founders, but we don't know any of these other individuals. We will be shocked to learn that of the 56 founders of the Declaration of Independence, 29 of them had what would be the modern equivalent of seminary degrees. Beyond that, you would find that you had straight-up raw dog evangelists that were a part of the signers of our Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. So for him to say that with broad brush carte blanche that the founding fathers were pagan and Freemasons, that's just absolutely false. A great example of that, one of the people you do not refer to is George Washington, an individual who prior to about the late 1800s, after 1850, where his farewell address used to be published in textbooks in American schools. He was not mentioned. A lot of people think that he was a Freemason, when that actually is absolutely false. George Washington died in 1799. We have lithographs and pictures of paintings that have been rendered to ascribe to George Washington the attributes of Freemasonry, but it's been documented that all of those were fabricated after George Washington died.
Wow.
He was dead, man. So what I'm saying through that is, and this is one of the problems that has manifested itself over time, is that the best way to deceive a people is to rob them of their history.
Wow.
And to continue to discuss information presumptively as if it is factual and pass that off as if it's accurate information. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that every signer of the Declaration of Independence and every signer of the Constitution were Christians, but it is undeniably factual that the majority of them were, first of all, and second of all, that the principles that underpinned the founding of our nation were Christian and unapologetically so.
Revitalizing the spirit, restoring our community. Urban Family Talk.